Hey everyone, it is time for another episode of Old Roommates. It is time to light the lights. It's time to face the music. I said that backwards. But it's time to revisit the Muppet Movie. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's Brian
and Christina.
And our special guest, Chris Revill from Let's Chat with Chris Revill. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. We are talking about the Muppet Movie, the 1978...
1979.
Classic.
Or maybe, well... So it was a 1979 Oscar nominee. So that would be 79 or 78?
That would be 78.
That would be 78, yeah. Okay.
And with us today, our special guest is Chris Revill. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And for anyone not familiar, Chris has a podcast called Let's Chat with Chris Revill, available in all the ways, iTunes,
everywhere.
Apple Podcasts, I guess, Spotify, and so on. Do you want to talk a little bit about your show?
Sure, yeah. Let's Chat with Chris Revill, hosted by me. It started in 2013, and I like to, similar kinship to you, of a fellow pop culture obsessed human being. So I like to try to find people who had involvement in some level, like really big things or little things. So I mean, I've talked to puppeteers, so like when I had a few years back, I went through a little Muppet craze as well.
Oh, cool.
But people, involved writers, movie actor. I wouldn't say movie actors. Actors, movies, writers, comedians, authors, scientists, like kind of a little bit all over the gamut. But it's very much in our. If you like this show, we're all in good company.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Chris. I knew it was you had it for a while. I didn't realize it was way back in 2013.
Me neither, which is really embarrassing.
That's amazing.
They had the What's Your Wishes Club I got invited to for the listening party, and I did this whole thing, did a speech, and I had multiple people read over my thing, and I kept writing the date and then writing 5 years, and it wasn't until maybe a week after I was like, oh my god, I missed a whole year of my life.
Wow.
Which I think is more about child having a baby and all that other crap.
Yeah,
but
sure. Oh yeah.
There was a whole year of the podcast I kept being 5 years. I've been doing this 5 years, talking to people, and everyone I started this and I did. I'm like, oh my god, I started. And then I was like, oh, started this before I got married. I've been married this long. I was like, oh my god, I missed a whole year of the podcast.
So you're like a pioneer in the podcasting world here.
Then I forgot about a year, but I'm sure it was a great year.
I'm sure it was.
So today we are talking about the Muppet Movie, and we always start with then.
Yes, and this is the original Muppet Movie. There's been a few. It's not. They didn't take Manhattan. It's not the one that was a few years ago.
Jason Segel.
So, funny enough, so Emily, I've mentioned this before, that she's not a big fan of movies. She's a huge fan of Emily Blunt this year. This is her obsession. She went from Hamilton to Emily Blunt. I don't know how that happened. But she found out that she was in the Muppet Movie.
Oh,
but it's the one that was a few years ago. And
wait, isn't that? I thought it was Amy Adams.
It was Emily Blunt is in there.
Oh,
yeah. It might have just a big
one.
part.
Is that the one they're in prison? There's two. There's the Jason Segel that kind of rebooted it, and then there's the Muppet something with Tina Fey's in it, and they're in jail. I saw it in theaters. That's how bad it was. It was 6 years ago because I saw it. I remember it only because
I want to say it was about 6 years ago. So I have not seen it.
Yes, oh my god, I forgot what it's called, but it's the Muppets. It's really good. I liked it.
Yeah,
I saw it. Me and my old co-host. This is why I remember it, because we parted ways maybe shortly after we saw that movie. But it was the Muppets something. I can't remember.
Purely coincidental, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why the Muppets is why I left. I was trying to think. Oh my god, what's that movie called?
I don't know.
Someone's looking it up because I saw it.
But what's funny is I had to trick Emily into seeing this one, saying, "Oh yeah, this is probably the one that Emily's in."
Would Emily Blunt be alive?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I knew for sure it wasn't. So if she's listening, she's going to be mad at me. But she usually doesn't listen to my podcast.
No, definitely not.
Usually not. So anyways, this is this 1979 Muppet Movie, starting out with Kermit playing that beautiful Rainbow Connection.
But it doesn't.
Oh, that's right, it doesn't. It starts
that's
how I always imagined it to be.
Me too.
This is what I always imagined it to be.
Because
You're right.
My misconception of how fucking... Can we get into it?
Yeah, you can say.
You can swear yourself?
Yeah.
How meta is this movie? Because same thing, my memory of it was opening up with the banjo. And
Yeah.
Yes!
that guy that I read was like Dom DeLuise, who I was not aware of that name.
Wait, I really have to say really quick.
Yeah.
So Chris is a little bit younger. Because, that's so funny with the Dom DeLuise reference. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, which a lot of this movie, I was like, I think that you're famous.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody in
Yes,
there
it's
is.
crazy.
I have written down
Some
a
of
whole
them
bunch
I
of
like would recognize, like Mel Brooks and Pryor and Martin, Steve Martin and stuff. But what is it? It opens up with it's like, man, I don't know about you, but I have to look at the dates. But watching this, it made me think so much of Mel Brooks and like Spaceballs.
Yes.
Like this whole movie is them making fun of movies while making a movie, and they do that scene where they give the script to read ahead, which like in Spaceballs.
Like, how did they
found you from
today?
the
We read it in the script.
Yes.
They're literally making fun of like Hollywood.
It's awesome.
It's so funny.
Good. So who remembers the first scene? I don't remember it.
So
what was it?
I
still don't remember it.
Well, I want to stick to then.
Okay.
So So I think the thing is like, so I remembered it the same way we all remember it.
Yes.
I remember it as the rainbow shines into the swamp and Kermit starts playing. It's a beautiful thing. But it actually starts with the movie theater scene, right? Doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. With everybody
like about to watch it.
About to watch it.
Yeah. But I will say, I absolutely loved this movie then. And I will say that, like, it really bothered. I didn't consider, because I was young enough or old enough to believe that frogs' legs resulted in little frogs in wheelchairs and canes, like Kermit. Well, also no, but because Kermit has a line like, "All I see are Muppets and on wheelchairs" or whatever. And that I remember thinking, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I remember thinking like, oh, I guess there is a way to safely remove the legs of a frog to eat them. I don't know. I was young, and I didn't have like that developed of a palate to have eaten frogs.
Right.
Sure.
But go ahead. Sorry. So then, did you like it?
So then, I loved it then. So, I don't remember where I watched it, or I don't know. I have no idea where I was when I saw it. I was young. You guys were all very young. I was 12.
Okay.
I was born in 1967, so I must have been 11 or 12 when I saw it. And of course, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious and so fun. But little known fact, I actually had the soundtrack.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm one of 6 children, and my father came upstairs one day and said, "Hey, we're going to join the Columbia Records and Tape Club." So everybody can choose like 2 CDs or cassettes. Yeah. And so I remember specifically ordering, I ordered Sister Sledge.
Oh my gosh.
And the Muppet Movie soundtrack.
Wow.
Good choice.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I got a lot of use out of that soundtrack.
Yeah.
My sister is 2 years younger than me, and we would listen to that soundtrack all the time. I loved it, every part of it. So I have a huge connection to this movie. And what was funny is this time around, even watching it, I'm singing all the songs, and my husband's looking at me like I'm cracked. He's like, "I can't believe you know the words of the song." I'm like, "Oh, are you kidding me?"
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
I think I probably still have the cassette, probably.
Yeah.
Crazy how they all the lyrics come back. Like I knew, it all. It was hilarious.
So, what was your take the first time you watched this?
The funny thing about this was, I don't know if I saw this as a kid. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Sorry, Mom and Dad, if you showed it to me. But I mean, I love the Muppets, but my knowledge was more of the Muppet Manhattan and Carol and Treasure and Muppet Show, everything else except this one. Yeah. So but the first time I saw it was with I used to live in the Armory in Providence. We had a neighbor, and she had our friend Erin, who actually we recently reconnected with. And at the time, she had a little Daisy. I think she was 3 when we moved in. So she was 3 when we moved in, and we had become really good friends with Daisy, her mom, and then Daisy, and we would she'd come down and hang out at our place. And one day, for some reason, we were on Netflix, and she wanted to watch the Muppet. She saw the Muppets. We watched it. This was maybe 6 years ago. It was my first time seeing it, and the whole time, be like, "Wow, I can't believe a 5-year-old likes this." And then Daisy I can't believe I was 30 or 29 or something. I can't believe I like it. It's because I'm not really great with old movies. And just fell in love. Same, I said,
just so
my
great.
mind
so
was
well
blown.
Done.
It's perfect. I turned this movie on and I don't move for 2 hours. I just zoned right in. It is fantastic.
To that point, about 2 hours, it's only 95 minutes.
Really?
I've talked about this before. I remember as a kid thinking this was an epic, sprawling saga. It's 95. It's pretty tight.
Right.
And I found the line. It's millions of frogs on tiny crutches, as Kermit says.
Yes!
But I will say, this starts out, and this bothered me. It didn't bother me then. It bothers me now. The very beginning of this movie, and we don't go scene by scene here. We're jumping all around. But the Muppets are kind of slobs. That movie theater is trash.
Oh,
Yeah.
it really is. Yeah.
Which didn't give
They're
a second
throwing
thought
things
as a
around,
kid. Yeah,
right.
And Animal is problematic because he has changed the chair and he's like, "Woman, woman," chained up like it's a little. I don't know why. That would be how that would ever be a good idea.
Full disclosure: I actually had an animal puppet as a child, and my sister had Ralph.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the best.
So anyway, I have a certain connection to animals. So watch your step.
Oh my God, Christina!
Do you think Animal's a Me Too'er?
I think a lot of puppets the Muppets would have come forward.
Well, I mean, everybody has their hand up there,
It's true.
right? I mean,
Like, Louis C.K.
Are
is
we
going to
having
open up for Animal.
any consent there?
Possibly.
So I wrote destroying chairs. There's popcorn everywhere.
Popcorn's everywhere. There's like a food fight of some sort.
It seems to be like there's a lot of underlying references to like hippie communes throughout this movie. Mm-hmm. Like the whole Dr. T. That's one of the references. Like
the Dr. T.
the Harry Koresh.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
tons about that, but I kind of know pieces of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of got like every time after watching the Dr. T stuff in the opening, I'm like, are these Muppets like? Is this a cult? Like that's like I watched it on another lens. I'm like, this is kind of like a cult.
I just thought it was great. Like it was a lot of I can say this like dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like turn the fork in the road, or it's a myth. Yes. Like
that was great. Yes.
Oh my God,
so many good things.
Everything.
It's really a cynical movie making fun of Hollywood.
Yes.
I mean, Kermit's got a good heart and he's dreaming and stuff and he's an optimist. But like the whole movie is really just kind of making fun of like the Hollywood. It's making fun of movies in general.
But it's beautiful, and I forgot. I would have guessed it was Dabney Coleman, but it was Orson Welles.
That's Orson.
That's the guy. And
Yeah.
then he's like, Miss So-and-so, please prepare your rich and famous contract for Kermit and Friends. And I was like, that's Orson Welles. Yeah.
Citizen's Kane?
Yeah.
Right?
Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Saw it in film class, fell asleep, never watched all of it. Sure, it's great.
But you remember who was in it.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
wow.
like he was the big guy that they were like dying to, that they had to get to. I forgot it was him. I don't know why. I thought it was Debbie.
I knew it was somebody, and I was trying to think of it the whole way. I'm like, who is that famous person?
Wow.
And I was actually trying to remember who all the guests were in there. Like I remembered Steve Martin was in there.
I remember Pryor.
I remember where he was.
Yeah.
I remembered like Bob Hope was in there, and I'm like, where did he pop
Which
in?
I'm going to get negative for just a second.
Oh boy.
I would say the worst performance in this movie is Bob Hope.
Which one was
Yeah,
he?
The ice cream guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
Bob Hope, for the unfamiliar, is, Jesus.
Legend.
He is a legend. He did a lot of, the USO shows. He did the Bob Hope Christmas specials and all these kinds of things. And he's just a born entertainer, a comedian. They dedicated, I think, an award, the Bob Hope Humanitarian Award. I think Oprah Winfrey's received this. He's a big deal, and he's a sort of a naturally effervescent, or was naturally effervescent.
Yeah.
He is. So not, I don't know why he did this. Why he did that little bit, because he brought nothing to it.
Right.
We have Steve Martin, who's
it was
hilarious, and I don't think it's on the page. I think it's a lot of Steve Martin.
Steve Martin is just one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Is this like peak Steve Martin, like wild crazy guy?
This is wild crazy guy Steve Martin.
Yes.
Late
70s.
Definitely.
I don't see Mel Brooks in there. Like it was almost like a nod. I got a real young Frankenstein vibe to that. It was really great.
Oh, totally.
It's fun to watch it now because I've seen it a handful of times. So I loved it. But like now, like after going on these deep comedy podcast dives for the last like 10 years or whatever, like I know so much stuff from listening to podcasts.
Oh yeah. But
God.
I mean, even like Cloris Leachman was in it, and Telly Savalas,
kind of amazing.
And I mean, just so.
Who's
many.
the one who always say, they always say Miss, and then like a woman will.
That is Carol Kane from she's now recently or last thing she did was Kimmy Schmidt. Kimmy Schmidt, and she was Taxi.
She's been in a lot of different
Holy
things.
shit, that was her?
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Yo.
She was Scrooged.
Yes. And then right before you meet her, you meet Madeline Kahn. Who is
wow.
I mean, so many great.
They brought everybody.
Everybody. And this is, like, they were all, like, in their heyday,
Telly
too.
Savalas.
I mean, these were, like,
and,
big-name celebrities at the time.
Because Henson was... Muppets always had this weird... They were never fully respected of their time. There's, like... There's that famous thing when the Muppets were on SNL, and, like, Belushi called them fucking... Not... Muppet Fuckets or something like that. And like there's a terrible they did SNL, but supposedly Lorne Michaels had like a lot of respect and Jim Henson were really good friends. One of the Henson kids went to RISD, and someone I used to work with like knew one of them, and I've tried I think Lisa, is that a Henson? It's not Brian, but it's
I have no idea.
one of the Henson kids.
I'll say, sure.
Like they run the company now. I've tried so hard to get them on my podcast, but I never was able to make to get it.
Well, maybe now.
Oh my god!
Maybe now we see what a huge fan Chris is of the Muppets.
Give me a Brian Henson on here. Oh my god!
Come on, guys! Somebody, one of our listeners.
I was gonna say, is Michael Eisner still running Disney? That's how out of it I'm. Like,
I will say this.
Make a call.
There are some. So there's the talent, and there's the visuals, and so my childhood. And just something that brings me joy, just anytime I think about Kermit riding that bicycle.
Oh! It's the best! How do they do?
It's the best!
I don't think they tell you.
Seamless. It is amazing.
Busted out laughing every time I've seen that scene.
But it's done so well.
You just bust out laughing.
I know.
It's hilarious. It's so good.
And up to that point, and I had learned this, prepared for this podcast because I was getting way in my Muppet mood again. Up before, you never saw their feet. So like, for like, the 70s.
It was like...
Yeah, for me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is cool. I saw Muppets Take Manhattan first. It was more my reference base. So to imagine being like seeing this in the 70s and having like that knowledge of the
like all of a sudden, whoa.
But they like they're pretty secret about how they did it. Like I'm sure maybe you could figure out online. I didn't put much research into it, but there's no like Jim Henson has a detailed quote. It's like all these like. Just a lot of references is like, oh, we don't want to take the magic out of it. It's like oh,
that's good.
Right?
I respect that. That's pretty cool.
I still can't figure it out. Like I don't know anything about VFX, but
it's
damn.
And then the great line, I wrote it down. He wrote, "That's pretty dangerous. Building a road in the middle of the street." And he says, if I had one off second, and I would have been gone with the Schwinn.
Yeah,
yes. Oh, that laughed so hard.
So many
these are funny dad.
Yeah.
These are punny dad jokes.
Yeah.
It's something that Phil Dunphy would say. And it's like just those punny, which I live for those moments.
He's in the Muppet Movie, the last one, Phil Dunphy.
Really? Oh, that's funny.
The one where they go to jail.
That's so funny.
Ty Burrell, that's his name.
Yes.
Really good actor.
One of my favorite lines in here that I wrote down was funny when they, I think they were like saving Fozzie and Kermit from like the nightclub when it's like the big brawl. And Fozzie says, "I don't know how to thank you." And Kermit says, "I don't know why to thank you."
Oh my god.
I cried laughing of that scene when he said drinks on the house and then it cuts and they're on the roof and it just works every time. That's really fucking funny.
Come on, it really is. It's so stupid but so funny.
I like watching this movie. Like I would say the core of my humor comes from like early Simpsons, and a lot of this had some of those early Simpsons reference. Which I don't know. Like early Simpsons, a lot of those were the people who came from like Taxi and stuff. But like. In the Muppets, it's like about humor and heart, but that is such a Simpsons joke because like a kid wouldn't know drinks in the house means free for everyone, so you think literally drinks in the house. It's the whole part of it. It's so stupid, but I can't stop laughing about it right now. It's just so funny to me. Just seeing these like masculine, fucking big buff dudes like looking around for beer.
Where's the beer?
And it ties into that fork in the road business.
Oh, it's funny.
It is just really funny. I like if we're Christina, but really quickly. I wrote, "I don't know how to thank you guys, Kermit.
I don't know why. We both wrote down the same line. It was such a good line.
Also, for dialogue, I will say it's up there with the Miss Piggy's phone call with her agent.
Oh my goodness! I feel like we can just watch this right now. And the three of us just watch it, and we'll just have a 2.5 hour.
I could spend 8 hours watching this movie.
Oh my god!
They should teach us in film class of like, this is how you do satire and meta and just
that's
like.
Right.
But the character, I mean, it was just so nice to see the characters, like all of our old favorites.
And they're actually, I mean, if you think about it, even something like Dr. Teeth's, what's the name of the band?
Electric Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Dr. Teeth, Electric Mayhem.
Electric Mayhem. Even those band members, like
Janis,
characters, that they're all actually characters.
They are
like
all
someone
characters.
spent enough time. They just could have been like Dr. T and his group and none of
Right.
them spoke. But one of them doesn't speak at all.
Right.
But when the other ones speak, they have distinct characterizations.
Yeah,
like,
they're actors.
It's smart. It's done
It is.
really, really well.
And the hippie one, I forget her name, but
Janis.
Janice. I can't do it, but I've known people exactly like her.
There's
Yeah.
another line that Janis says, so they get pulled over by the police.
Oh,
right?
God.
Do you hear what she says? They're all like going, oh no, oh no. And out of nowhere, Janis, among the chatter, says, big city. I don't understand. But I busted out laughing.
Oh my God.
Like everybody's like, big city. It was just so weird. And I'm like, I don't know why I found that. Like, that is something
Well, and I think that's
I
what
paused
makes
it because I was laughing so hard.
This is what makes it so unique
like
as
random.
a movie, because these Muppets, yes, they're Muppets, but they are truly realized characters. It's like you're watching a person. And even in the movie itself, it's like nobody says, oh, look, there's a Muppet talking to me. It's like, oh,
It's
they
just
want to
taking
have a
Israel.
drink. Come
That's
on
right.
over.
Yeah.
And they give them like a straw, right? Like, remember Kermit and Miss Piggy are on a date, and they're like, it's Steve Martin. Steve Martin.
Oh my God,
waiter,
he's so great.
And he's, has such an attitude, and he gives them the drinks, and he's like, and some straws, right? Like, he brings up the straws, like, yeah, I figured that. And he has to unwrap the straw and give them, because they're Muppets and they can't use their hands.
They don't have thumbs.
But they don't acknowledge the fact that they're Muppets.
That's
It's just like they just live around, like, among us.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's like makes it so unique.
Yeah. I also love the Charles Durning as the Colonel Sanders.
Oh, he's
knockoff.
so mean.
He's
He's a great character.
great character. And there's something he does when he's showing Kermit the commercial on all the TVs, and it's the jingle of like da, 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 da.
Yes.
His lips are moving with like as he's watching himself on TV.
I noticed that.
It's so minor and subtle that I'm like, that makes perfect sense for that.
Yeah,
character.
because he's so self-centered.
He's so self-centered. He's singing along to his own jingle on TV.
Because he's so proud of it.
It's
and
so
he loves
good.
It. Yeah.
God. And the funny thing in the beginning of this movie too is they actually kind of the little baby Kermit character. I don't know the name of it, but it goes to Kermit. Something is like, is this like? But basically something along the lines of, is this an origin story or something? I forget. But they kind of joke about it. Kermit's like something like that. Yeah. But like they kind of like I was watching this. Like I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Universe stuff, but it's like kind of doing what Marvel does now. Is like they took these Muppet characters and then they wrapped it around like a 1970s road trip movie. Like you take your thing and then because it's basically the Blues Brothers, like this movie,
right?
So it's just
or
like
the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's like you take that genre and just throw Muppets in there, but then the rest of the world. It's funny, no one ever references it. But then as they but it makes sense to the rules because as they travel throughout the movie, they just find more random Muppets. It's not like they're just
and it's joining, it's
they're
joining the adventure. And I feel like it's they could have just done like pit stops where they encountered and you never saw them again. But every time you see them again, or they just literally jump in the car, which I think is a harder
or run after the car,
or it's like, but I think it's like a harder. That's
or fall on the car.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's a harder thing to do. Sorry. But it's a harder thing to do, like to give all these characters screen time, but original points of view. They all have some version of a goal, and it's so good.
Yeah,
and then like you see, Big Bird's in it for a second. We get that like
right. And he has a reference. What did he say?
Because Kermit starts from Sesame Street. I just was reading about that. Kermit was on Sesame, so like it's like kind of like they almost have this connected universe, but without like doing it the way Marvel does. It's almost like a little nod to it.
Total
Because they say something about Big Bird. They say something funny.
Well, Big Bird's on the street.
Doesn't he ask how to get to Sesame
Street
or something?
Do you need help? And he says, no, I'm on my way to New York City to try to break into public
television. And they're just like, see ya, but they don't even like, oh my god, there's another Muppet. They're just like,
that's the thing. It's like they just live amongst us. Like nobody gives it. It's like who cares? They're just Muppets.
Or that funny joke that Gonzo made. I had to ask you about that. If you could, that reference. She's like, I'm going to Bombay, India to become a star, and Fozzie goes, That's not how you get to become a movie star. You go to Hollywood. He goes, if you want to do it the easy way. And then they like stare at the camera. And I do not get that joke at all, but I laughed at it, but I don't understand that reference. Like, Gonzo's so weird.
And I don't know.
Like, what, a Bollywood reference in the 70s? I don't know anything about it, but if anyone is listening, please let us know, because I was so, like...
Yeah, please.
I thought it was really funny, but I was so
joke,
confused.
I took it as the joke was more on, like, how the
difficult
suggestion...
it's
right,
been
the
so far.
joke... Right, exactly. Yeah. That it's, like, the joke of... That it's easy to be famous in Hollywood, which is
kind of the whole point of the movie, is that if you show up to Hollywood and you're young, knowing, and optimistic, you're going to get become a star.
Yeah. Yep.
What else? Anything, dare I say, that we didn't?
Oh my god! I feel like nothing that we didn't care for.
No.
So amazing that didn't age well. The animal stuff didn't age well, in my opinion.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, the animal. So it's interesting that when you think about the animal, because in the Muppet Show,
which I love.
Yes,
love,
animal was different. He wasn't so like caveman-ish, right? He was more of a character. I don't think he even had the chain on him in the Muppet Show. So that was a little different.
I'll tell you something I loved as a kid that I did not love now, and this is kind of bitchy. I didn't like Miss Piggy's song.
I hated it so much.
Oh my gosh, I never liked it.
I always hated that song.
I forgot about that.
Me too.
Oh my god,
I think it's too high pitched.
Never before.
Yeah, I really.
Never again.
Okay, actually, that was the only thing, and I remember even not liking.
Even as a
child,
I didn't like
I just didn't like that song.
Yeah, it was too long.
And yes,
it was too long.
Different style of music.
Maybe
whole,
yes, it's all of what you're saying.
Yes.
To me, truly, it was like I
skipped through it actually.
Oh, did you?
I couldn't handle it.
I remember liking it as a kid. And I remember liking the boat. Like the
right.
Although it doesn't make sense that Kermit can't swim, right? He's drowning, and she's just kind of sitting there.
Right. Well, it's her fantasy,
right?
Yeah.
But it's I thought, but the song, it's like just the voice.
It's too long. It's too high. Yeah. It goes on for way too long. One part that I did like in that is when they were running together to meet from across the field, and then they bump into each other, and then she just
keeps going,
and Kermit's kind of stuck in her.
I wonder if the Muppet Baby cartoon that I used to watch as a kid came from this movie, because they have that like fantasy sequence in the babies.
Oh, maybe. Well, I never saw that.
It's the Manhattan one.
Is that
the babies? The Muppet Babies are introduced in the Manhattan one, and that song is actually pretty.
Is that cartoon
that's
based
the wedding
song?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because that's the one I watched.
Muppet Babies cartoon is sort of like spun off or based on the flashback or the imagined Miss Piggy dream, and that became the cartoon. But that song is actually quite nice in Muppets Take Manhattan, which is like the wedding song.
Which is
that's a good one.
And Miss Piggy's a tough character.
She's tough, but I love her. I think that she's funny. I think she brings a whole new dynamic to it. She's such a diva. I do love the phone call, how she's just so in love with Kermit, and then her agent calls, she goes, How much? Okay. And then does she even say goodbye?
No!
She does.
She goes,
yeah.
Bye.
And then left.
Yeah, leaves. Yeah. Oh, shit. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. I love that we didn't talk about the kicking. And she beats everyone up. She saves the day.
Yeah,
amazing.
Didn't she get an award for being a feminist icon a few years back?
Probably.
From a reputable source, not like a joke.
I would think so.
A legitimate. It's funny, like, back and watch that and kind of shapes of who you like become attracted to as you get older. I'm like, this all adds up a little.
I thought she was just so. I thought she was amazing. Yeah, it makes perfect sense that she was like a feminist.
She always kicks ass. She's always fighting.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like. Always. Like it's pretty violent.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Real violent.
And
but I mean, she's a strong woman. She's like, she knows what she wants. She goes after what she wants. She, I mean, she's very strong.
Kind of an asshole sometimes, which I think is good too.
Yeah, well, because she's a strong woman, she's an asshole. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just kidding.
But now she's a bitch?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, what I meant by that, and truly though, is that it's actually kind of nice when you see a female character, it's either not portrayed of so one way or the other, where she's complex. She's not just like a perfect woman or like she's not a narcissistic sociopath piece of garbage. She's well, she's a puppet.
She's a puppet, yeah. And a pig.
But they're so grounded emotionally in terms of, like, people.
Yes.
Where, like Kermit, too. Like, you know, but, like, you don't see that with a lot of female characters, especially, maybe, I don't know, film about the 70s, but you don't see that ever.
You really don't.
Like, usually I hate when you get it, it's like the martyr character, where it has to be, like, they're the woman and they're perfect and they can't be flawed in any way, shape, or form.
Like me.
And super, exactly. And super understanding. Yeah, they're either one or the other.
Yeah, and she's so, like, of course, you shouldn't beat people up, but you know what?
Right.
Maybe you should in that moment, damn it.
I wonder if she was...
she's the best.
If she was created from someone that he knows.
Oh,
like, I wonder if there's, like, an aunt or a wife, or somebody... I wonder where that personality came from, or if it was just strictly from an imagination.
I wonder that. I wonder if it's the puppeteer. I don't know who does the Miss Piggy. I only know Jim and Frank's
it is Frank Oz.
Oh, is it Frank?
Voice, yeah. Because she sounds not too dissimilar from
Yoda.
Does Frank Oz also do Gonzo? He does.
I think he does.
It sounds
It's
similar.
like one or two people do, like, everything.
So now here's the funny thing. So Gonzo, his song is very pretty.
I know.
He's looking at the stars and he...
Oh my gosh, it is so...
I've never been there, but I know the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I don't know if that's the name of the song, but it's like such a
I'm going to come back this day.
Yes.
It's kind of
so
spiritual.
Sweet.
I've always loved that song.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And
it's a beautiful song.
And he's borderline problematic, right? Because you're not sure if he's having sex with chickens, but they sure reference it.
Yeah, and we don't know even what he is, right? Nobody really knows what he is.
Yeah. But if we're being...
But he's kind of bird-like, so if he is having sex with chickens...
That's kind of cool.
Right?
The chickens seem to be in it.
He has like
balloons
a bee.
up in the air.
That's true.
That's racist. But I think but I think he's not a bird if he needs balloons to fly.
No, he can't fly, that's for sure.
But neither can penguins.
Right, can't.
Or ostriches.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I guess I'll be going now.
Yeah. Maybe you should do a little research.
What's so good about this movie is they make that little joke about, they're like, is this how this all started? And he's like, something like that. Like, they can fuck with their canon any way they want, because this movie is just an exaggerated version about the origins of the Muppets, which basically means there is no origins. We don't know.
Of course.
So they can, like, do whatever they want with this movie. They're like, and, oh my god, the amount of fourth wall breaks blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
They stop and stare at the camera so many times to feel like the audience isn't ready for it.
It's so
good. It's so good. That whole desert scene with the Gonzo song and when then the electric teeth find them again.
Like, how'd you find us?
It's like you're just waiting for them to talk about, like, peyote or mushrooms. Like, there's a
lot of references.
You get a lot of that sense from Henson that there's a lot of, like, hallucinogenics in that community. Like, I'm guessing they're all old hippies. I can't imagine anyone in their 40s or 50s who's a puppeteer who didn't, in the 70s, to touch some hallucinogenics.
Sounds true. Oh, gosh. It was the thing with the script is so funny when they're giving it to the band, and I think it's Fozzie is handing over the script, and he says, it starts here on page 1, which I think is one of those brilliant lines. Brilliant. It is one of the funniest fucking lines. Like, it's so stupid and smart, and I love that line.
That whole scene's so funny because you can almost, I could be wrong, but it feels like they're making fun of studio executives for giving them notes about explaining, because the whole point is you can't explain it all because we've already saw it, so we're going to give you the script, and then they just read the whole script and explain what you just saw, because it's probably an argument of, like, it's for an adult movie, but it's really for kids. I mean, it was probably marketed for kids.
It was probably one of the first ones.
Are you saying that, like, they intentionally do that to get people caught up, like the little kids?
I'm wondering, like, if Henson, like, they got in a fight. Yeah, like, I wonder if, like, the studio got, like, you need to have the scene where you try to do a recap, and but Henson's like, or the Henson people, or Henson, I forgot the director's name, but the people, the way they wrote this movie, it's like you're getting a recap of everything you just saw if you're 5. But it's hilarious as an adult because they're making fun of the recap simultaneously.
Sorry, Christina is just playing.
No, I'm listening and playing at the same time.
Go back there someday. Sun rises, night falls.
This is the Gonzo song.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
I can't. This is as high as it
goes.
goes.
That is as high as your phone goes?
Is that a song there?
Oh, you know what?
Well, then
he's like staring at the moon. And there's Muppets and stuff.
It might be able to hear.
I had interviewed a couple times this guy. He makes indie films. Like, he's a puppeteer and he makes independent films in Connecticut. Named John Bristol. He'd been on my show a few years ago. Really great guy. I gotta find him, ask him, because he'll be the one person I can be like, is Gonzo an alien? And he'll be like, well, Muppets in space, or like he is like an encyclopedia of Muppets.
Good to know.
I'll have to find him. I'll have to write to him because I think Gonzo's an alien because there is a Muppets in Space movie, but I don't remember it.
But is that where they find Gonzo?
I don't know. That's what the whole this is the origin movie, and they don't give you any actual answers to anything. We just don't know where they come from. They're just there.
Let's see some fun facts. So the movie made $76 million then, which today's standards that would be with inflation $270 million. That was a huge hit. And let's see, Rainbow Connection was nominated for an Oscar, nominated for a Golden Globe. It won. So the soundtrack won a Grammy for Best Children's Album.
That's what it was.
Great.
And it won the Saturn Award for Best Fantasy Film.
Really?
Which is it because it has Muppets, it means automatically a fantasy?
For what awards? Saturn Awards?
Saturn Awards?
Because awards are kind of a joke. I mean, in all honesty, remember when The Martian got nominated for Best Comedy?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever it was.
Globes, yeah.
So maybe it was just one of those, be like, well, we can fit it in this category.
Yeah,
and we want these people to show up.
Yeah.
Because I only say that as someone who will never win one of those awards, because then if then I got one, then obviously they're the most important thing in the world. But since I never will, fuck them, they're all bullshit. But until then, until you hand me one.
The Saturn Awards are American awards presented annually by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. So
maybe it's just a way to squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also don't know the.
I mean, I guess if like majority of your cast are not real, then it becomes a fantasy.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Labyrinth's different. It's the same. It's all puppet, the Henson stuff, but that feels like a true fantasy.
It is like a fantasy. But I mean, how different is it though, right? I mean, I guess
I think this is better. I'm going to do a hot take. I prefer Muppet Movie over Labyrinth any day of the week.
Oh shit!
Let's come at me, people online. Let's go.
I think Christina's answer to that.
Yeah, I think Labyrinth.
I mean, I don't think I've actually seen.
I love them both.
What? Yeah, but I'm going to come at it.
How can you make that statement?
I feel like
Chris, you're out. Get out of here right now.
If we don't get like a flaming internet war about like a pitting Muppet fans, like why do we even do this pod? Like, to get ourselves famous.
So in those puppets or Muppets.
Am I thinking
in
Dark
Labyrinth?
Crystal?
That was also Jim Henson.
That's what I also hate. I hate that one.
I hate Dark Crystal.
I did not see.
Which one's David Bowie? I am really digging the whole
Labyrinth. That's Labyrinth.
Yeah, I didn't like that as much either.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. It was fantastic.
Maybe I did. I should see it again.
Yeah, you should see it again.
Yeah.
I think that you would see it with new eyes.
It was our third
and then you
episode.
can listen to our episode on it.
I didn't listen. I listened to other ones yours. That one.
Yeah.
I remember
Watch
seeing
it
them like
first and then
Labyrinth.
listen to our
You have to
episode.
see the movie first.
Yeah, but you had a Married with Children episode. I was like, oh, I gotta listen to that first.
Another thing I laughed at, just randomly jumping around, is Milton Berle as the car dealer guy.
Oh, yes.
When he
That's who that was.
He's talking really fast, and this is something very relatable, where he's talking about he's like, well, this is blah, 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 with your $12 trade-in. And I actually rewound because I'm like, did he just say $12 trade-in?
Yeah, what was that referencing?
Because they brought in two cars.
Oh.
And he was only going to give them $12 for their car, which is hilarious. But then it's all funny because there's a fly, and the fly lands in the price.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so...
It makes a decimal point.
You owe us a nickel.
That's right.
He's probably dead,
right?
He's dead. Yeah.
But I was thinking of taking...
feelings? Should we take a little break and come back to final thoughts and questions?
And and anything we might have missed. I don't know how much we've even talked about the movie, but but anyway, we'll be right back. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back talking about the Muppet Movie.
With our special guest, Chris Revill from Let's Chat with Chris Revill.
Hello!
Let's dive into the final portion
ending or whatever. Sure. Well, I will say, I was just saying to Brian and Chris that I have not really written too many notes because I was so involved in watching this. But I do remember the ending in that the part that they are. They're in like the little western town, and they've gotten tracked down, and they're trapped.
Yeah.
And Kermit makes this beautiful speech, right?
Oh, I could have cried.
Gorgeous speech about just
friends.
being friends and
family.
If that's what that means, then fine. You can have me.
No, he says kill.
Or kill me. Yes,
he says flat out to the man holding the gun. Sorry, I got a little emotional. I know. He says you can kill me and it's so much. I didn't mean to over.
No, it's okay.
But like the whole point of the opening line of this movie, and this is why this movie is so brilliant, and it's satire, but then it gives to me the optimist on the inside, which I think anyone could relate to this at any time frame. Is that the whole beginning of the movie is Dom DeLuise going to Kermit and being like, "You should go to Hollywood and make lots of money and make millions of people happy." And Kermit does not wrench the money once the entire movie.
Right.
And the whole movie is about friendship and family and community, which is very much
making people happy.
And making people happy.
I come my dad's side of the family. My grandparents are Unitarian, and I've always assumed just the Jim Henson, that kind of world seems to be a little more hippie Unitarian, Quakerish, and that kind of the Muppets do have that to them. But
definitely,
that scene is really powerful for a kid's movie. It's
very, very powerful.
And he's like, "Kill me," and then the guy actually tries.
And then he says, "Okay, I'll kill you." And that's the part that I loved. It was so hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you see Kermit's expression, which is hard to do
like,
for a Muppet. He's like, "Whoop!"
Yeah, the mouth crumples in.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
One of the mouth with Kermit is so expressive, and I don't know how the hell they do it. And it's
so
delicate. And maybe that's how they do it.
It's
but
brilliant.
It is. It's oh
brilliant.
shit. He really feels and experiences.
And then of course the animal saves the day. But
yes.
But that's so funny, that shot that scene also establishes the Muppets can die. So they're not just puppets anymore. They are living, breathing creatures. They're technically animals, I think they get referred to sometimes by people in the movies. Yeah. It's a little fishy of what they are, but they could die.
And Cloris Leachman, her character says, "I'm allergic to animal fur." So they put the fan on, and that's how they get in to see the agent. Yeah, because there's
always this
furs going around.
So
yes, that's true. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, ruffle your feathers." Shake it.
But a kid's that scene is so powerful.
It's
to
so
stand
powerful.
in front of your friends and your family and Piggy and the people you love, and just fucking kill me.
Right.
And they're like, okay.
And then they go kill it.
And Animal, the one that is always is problematic, saves the day, which also, I'm not defending Animal, but it's we can go talk about that stuff forever. It's just, life is so complex, and I think this movie hammers it so well.
It really does.
It really does. The quote unquote, you would assume the villain would be Animal because he's chained up and all this, and he saves everyone.
He saves. Yeah,
I love
and they even refer to it actually a little bit in the middle of the movie when the movie starts melting and they have to redo it, and they show the theater scene, and Animal is freaking out, and then is it Dr. Teeth or the other guy? What's his name? And the guy in the band turns to Animal. He's like, "Don't worry, your big scene's coming up. Your big scene's coming up." And, they refer that it's coming up.
It's so great. And then I'm trying to remember the next.
And then of course the end of the movie when Harry jumps through the scene.
Oh,
because he's been chasing the car the whole time. I mean,
that's so funny. And then they make this 15-second thing where he looks at the camera and it's like, "Hope you enjoyed it. We like what we did," which is kind of like a FU to the critics, or I guess the kids say the haters.
Yeah, the haters.
Because I don't know what the time frame is of the climate of how people felt about Muppet movies and if it should be a thing or if it's for kids. But
I don't remember it ever being. So I was young again. I was 11 or 12, but I don't remember it ever being controversial. I remember it being very loved.
Oh yeah,
but I remember it just universally being loved. But
they just said "Hey, we made." They literally just flat out go to the audience "We like what we made."
Yeah, we like it.
I wish more artists would actually just say that.
Yeah.
And they don't care about you, if you like it or not. And then this beautiful song, and then the dirty theater.
Yeah,
they never clean that thing.
Well, we don't see what happens behind us. Yeah. Maybe they all cleaned up after.
I do think it does a great job balancing what's fun for kids and what's fun for the adults.
Yeah,
pretty much throughout. There's always something, and I think just kids will be entertained by the spectacle. I do think it still holds up really well. Chris, to your point about the cameo performances by all these people and actors, and I feel like I don't think it even matters. To your point, it's you enjoyed it. You didn't necessarily know who they were, but Richard Pryor's in there, and a bunch of
everybody's
other
people.
In there.
Everybody's in there.
Oh,
and Madeline Kahn, I wanted just so much more of her in there.
I wanted more of everybody. I honestly did. Especially like the Steve Martin. I was so happy he had a nice big scene.
Yeah,
He
it's
had a
real
good
meaty.
scene.
Yeah.
But like the Cloris Leachman she's
Great.
amazing.
James Coburn when he gets thrown out of the bar.
Yes! Oh my gosh,
That is the
yeah.
meanest, toughest, nastiest bar or place in all the whole town. He's like, why do you complain to the owner? He's like, I am the owner. Oh my god. So
It's 79,
Yeah.
78,
Yeah.
whenever they make this movie, when they're making this, it looks, besides some of that, maybe it's the color, I don't think the Disney Plus version had any restoration to it.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's beautiful.
It does look
beautiful.
better than
really
Well,
good.
especially at the very end,
No,
right?
it's pre-CGI, so it's
when they're
actual puppets.
setting up the scene for
Yeah.
the movie, and they have the last song there.
Did you see the first Hunger Games movie?
No.
It's good, but there's a scene where there's like a CGI thing, and it's even for the time it came out, it looked terrible. And that's like my go-to of like when CGI looks bad, because the rest of the movie's good, but you could just tell they skipped it.
Yeah.
But like now you can watch like The Flash and see stuff of equal CGI, but the Muppets for 1979. Like
just their movements, just their movements in their bodies, and their Fozzie and Kermit are dancing on the stage, and it's all of those things you said earlier. Like you can see their legs, you see their feet. It's
the eye
is
contact.
done.
Well,
so
I feel like the
thoughtfully
quality
and well.
is, the quality of this Muppets is very much like the quality of a cartoon for Disney.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They really pay so much close attention to the actual details, the shadows, the facial expressions, like
Kermit's mouth in that scene we were just talking.
Right.
Like the fact that we're all like adults watching that, we're talking about a puppet, and we talk about its smile, like little. Maybe someone here got a little too into it, but like I know it's just funny because like even if I watched the original Star Wars movies, which I actually don't even like, hot take, but, I don't think they look great. Like someone it looks old. This movie
cheesy,
does not look old
No,
to
it
me.
doesn't.
it doesn't. It totally stands out.
You could have made it today. You could just replace, and I think they have.
They probably,
I think
have.
they
What they
did
did
a
is,
single
like,
rebirth.
What they did is they take all these really great characters people already loved, and they allowed them to be themselves, give them some breathing room, and put them in an interesting story.
Yes.
And so it was so good.
It's like
It was so
they
good.
respected them as individuals.
While making fun of movies.
Yeah.
Like literally while making fun of tropes, making fun of plot devices. I mean, it makes me understand why I love this stuff as much as I like the humor I would grow to love is so much probably from like the Muppets. Yeah. Like it's just the original class clowns they're like almost I'm smarter than or when you're a kid and you start to realize adults are idiots.
Yes.
It's kind of the Muppets kind of have that like feeling to it of like you're actually a moron but you're in power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get a lot of sense of like truth to power and some silly ways of them.
So now it is time for sorry.
I just want to say that we can't end this episode without mentioning Statler and
Statler! That's how
That's how it starts.
That is how it starts.
That's right. They're driving onto the lot and they introduce their names.
Yes.
And that's something how I always remember their names.
I mean, come on. They have to be two of the best characters.
I was just remembering the reason. I was like, because I remember liking all this stuff as a kid, and then just having a gap.
Is it Waldorf?
Waldorf and Statler.
Waldorf and Statler. Yeah.
I was visiting my friends.
I forget which one. I think the rounder one is Statler.
Yeah, because I remember visiting my friends, Bo and McKay at the time when they were dating, and she was a huge Muppet fan, and it was that visit, like it was probably like 8 years ago. It was like it re-kicked my Muppet love, and I was gonna read the Jim Henson biography. I took it out from the library. I mean, I didn't, but I sure thought about it. So then I was like, okay. I was like, why do I know all this stuff? I forgot I had like a Muppet kick like 6 years ago where I like rediscovered all of them. And then Muppet Christmas Carol every year, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
And now probably tonight Muppet Christmas Carol again.
Sorry for that. I had to mention Statler and Waldorf.
No,
Yeah, they're so good.
And it's very smart, by the way, to have characters that are mocking the product that you're watching.
Yeah.
So that way you're appealing to someone who this may not be their thing.
Correct.
They're the parents.
They're like hate-proofing it.
Yes, that's a good way to look at it.
Yes, totally.
They're the parents who had to take the kid.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the curmudgeons
Like,
of
this
society.
is garbage! Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The
so
old
good.
grandfathers.
They offered no they offered no help at all and just complained about everything.
Right.
Which is kind of a metaphor for certain people that we all should cut out of our lives.
And they just laugh about it.
Yeah. Woo! I just can't think of the Muppet Christmas Carol with we're Marley and Marley. Woo! That's all I ever think of when I think of them.
Oh, God.
All
right.
Christina, I have one for you.
Okay. Here's our question.
It's a
right?
fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
We can all answer it.
Okay, yeah. We'll fifth the wheel.
Fozzie, Rolf, Gonzo.
It's tough.
Yeah. I have mine, though.
Yeah, I got mine.
My, okay, well.
Yeah, that was way too fast.
Should we answer first, Christina?
Wait, no.
Oh, okay.
Let me give it some thought here. Okay. So, I think Fozzie I would marry.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would kill... I guess I would have to kill Gonzo. I don't know. I think Gonzo would be better in the sack.
I know, that nose.
Wow.
I feel like he would be wild.
Wow.
I think
Am
Rolf
I-
would be better.
He'd only do doggy style, though, wouldn't he?
Depends on your mood for the night.
Such a family show.
Oh, goodness. I know. Sorry about that. We'll be expliciting this a couple times. So I think we'll say, okay, I guess I will, okay. Actually, I think I'm going to marry Rolf, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to marry Rolf because Fozzie might get annoying after a while. I think I'm going to kill Fozzie and fuck Gonzo.
Wow.
I stand by those choices.
Now I'm changing mine.
Holy crap.
I'm standing by the choices. I think that
You were right
Fozzie's
the
super
first-
annoying.
Wow.
He's supposed to be, right? Like,
Yeah.
He's kind of
He's
like
supposed to be annoying,
He's like a vaudevillian comedian, but post vaudeville. So like he's doing
Yeah.
one-liners, and everyone's like, "This, no one does this anymore."
One of my
Yeah.
favorite things when he's doing stand-up, he says...
Waka, waka, waka.
No, he says, please, I'm trying so hard. It's amazing.
That's
Please don't-
relatable.
yeah.
That's so relatable.
So I was completely wrong. I had it right the first time because I said you would marry Fozzie, fuck Rolf, and kill Gonzo. And that's what you were saying.
Almost,
and
yeah.
then
I was
the
almost
last
going to say that, and then I
minute,
changed it. No, it wasn't because of Chris. It was
Okay.
because I gave it a little more thought. Because I was thinking, do I want to spend every single day of my life with Fozzie?
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
dogs are so loyal and nice and sweet, and so I'd much rather spend my days with
You don't see a lot of Rolf in it. And he plays piano.
And he plays piano.
Get some
I
serenade
forgot
at
about the
least.
piano part.
Probably cooks.
I'm gonna
Probably
give
does cook.
Yeah.
giving mine
He
away,
seems
but
like a nice, chill guy.
I think I'm gonna marry Rolf too.
I'm
Nice.
marrying. That's so
Nice.
mine's.
Yeah, Rolf all the way.
Very
I'm marrying Rolf also.
Yeah.
because
copycat.
No, I wrote it down because I really like how like he's thoughtful and like deep and
Yeah.
he can sing and he can
And he
play
gave good
piano.
advice.
Gave good advice.
Yeah.
He's a good listener.
He's actually the original
He's
Muppet
like-
too. It's the first one that Jim Henson made.
You're kidding.
Like, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Back in Maryland.
Did not know
when it was
that.
like the local TV show. I think it goes.
I will say-
Rolf was the first, and then Kermit they take off, but Rolf's his first Muppet.
Wow.
So that's probably
so
why
cool.
he's got that emotional heart to him, where you don't see too much, you don't see too little. Kind of like the wisdom character.
And I would fuck Fozzie. I like bears. And
You do.
Gonzo I would have to kill.
Yeah.
I see.
As good as that little song is, I
know.
Yeah. But
Part of me, the only reason I'd want to have sex with Gonzo is because he's an alien. I want to be the first one to fuck another species.
Right.
Throwing it out there.
Totally,
Don't want to ruin that
totally.
opportunity.
And he does have that song, so he's probably very sensitive and in tune to a lot
Yeah,
of stuff that
but
you don't
I'm-
really know underneath.
More physically attracted to bears.
Yeah.
What's a lady bear? I don't know the polar bear. I don't know.
Still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would be a bear.
I think it's still there.
That's the dumbest question I've ever asked.
so ours was
Can we should we keep that? Yeah, we're gonna keep that.
Yeah, we're
So
keeping
you're
that in.
killing Fozzie? Wait, is that what you said?
I'm still not sure yet.
He's not sure yet, yeah.
You were both giving me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I know. This is tough.
Fozzie, I just think it would just be fun because he's like funny. I mean,
Yeah.
tries to be funny.
It's just one
and
time.
It's like I don't know.
You can have
And
a good
then
swing.
Gonzo was like just really. That's very easy. That was the easiest pick for me.
Yeah.
Although the only thing to say about Rolf is I do think this is a little nitpicky, but I do think his eyes are the most a bit like unexpressive.
Yeah.
Like they're just like I mean they're very like much like just I know they're
Yeah.
all like that, but like for some reason his eyes maybe because they're just big that they just
Maybe.
scream like I am a puppet. Yeah.
Yeah.
They hint in the movie that he might be a womanizer.
Oh,
There's
really?
a whole remember the whole song with him and Kermit about how he doesn't do anything anymore because he's about women.
Oh,
part of it
can't
was
live
like
with them, can't live without
Can't
them.
live with
Yeah,
him.
it's like-
Can't live without him.
I can't tell if he's just come out of a relationship or he's just crushing a lot,
Or a lawsuit, yeah.
or is he just
Yeah.
like really just depressed and everything else is someone else's fault.
Hope that something better comes
Comes
along.
along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he
That's a
might
good
just be
sign, too. I don't
depressed.
know.
But he's a
Yeah.
musician, so
Yeah.
he can write good music about how
That's
terrible
true.
I'm going to treat him.
Yep, they made a monkey out of old King Kong. I hope that something better comes along.
Yeah. Good,
So
Brian.
good. Yeah.
Ooh.
You know some
That is a
lyrics.
good song. I do a lot of good songs.
Okay. Chris, have you decided?
I mean, I have to. Just in case he's a species from another planet, I have to.
So you're
sleep
fucking
Gonzo.
gone.
I got
All
it.
right.
Just want everyone to know that's not my type.
Yeah.
Team Fozzie. But I think the world could do a little bit better with that one less mediocre comedian.
Yeah.
And I love Fozzie, but he's got to go.
Yeah, he's just a little annoying.
But maybe that's what he needs for his career is a tragic end, and then he can become like
I think he just needs to
wasn't
get laid.
appreciated. Yeah.
What thing?
Oh, I could have helped. But he missed his chance.
That'll roughen him up a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
Yeah.
A little heartbreak.
Yeah.
Christina, you had a question.
I did. So my question's pretty simple, and it's just which Muppet do you relate to the most?
Kermit was always. I felt like a kinship to Kermit and Fozzie when I was younger.
Yeah.
Then watching it again, I feel like ideologically, I feel like I wish I was Kermit with that positive
wise
outlook and like friendship and family are more important than money.
Yeah. Well, that's
There's
nice.
a little Gonzo in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Sex and the City. We're all one of all of them.
We're all a little piece of them
I'm
all.
a little bit of all of them, but I think Kermit's the one. On my best days, I'm more of a Kermit.
You're more of a Kermit.
Huh. I mean, I think we're almost inclined to connect with Kermit because he is sort of like the everyman amongst all these other characters. But I think there are times when I relate to sort of the
Preservation.
self-preservation of Miss Piggy in
I
a
can
way,
see
like
that.
like a how dare you, like I say how dare you a lot, yeah, I feel like it's like if it's a mix, I would say probably Kermit and Miss Piggy because there's something very like it cuts to the chase where Kermit really doesn't.
Yeah.
But I like Kermit's sense of humor and being able to look at a situation and make something humorous.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think for me, and it might just be a wish of who I always wanted to be, maybe, is Janis.
She's so cool.
She's like so cool
She's in a
and
band.
chill.
Yeah.
She's in a band. She's
Yeah.
kind of like whatever, like peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Oh, I would say if
Yeah.
we're talking like a road trip, like having this adventure, I would probably want to hang out with Janis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as if we're not running for our lives,
Right.
it's Janis. If we're running for our lives, I'd probably want to team up with Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe a combination of Miss
Yeah.
Piggy
Yeah.
and Janis, because
Janis,
Janis would, let's face it, get her ass kicked. She wouldn't care. She'd be like,
But she wouldn't feel
whatever.
it.
She wouldn't care,
Yeah.
right? She'd be like, whatever, just kill me. That sounds
There's
good.
if anyone out there wants a good cry, go on YouTube because this is I'm gonna throw Victoria under the bus. My wife, when we first started dating, I was at one point so I first moved here. I was working like 2 jobs. I had like an overnight job and I was working at Starbucks simultaneously. So I would just sleep whenever I could. And there was one time we were in her room and I was sleeping and she was like on the couch or something, just like watching YouTube, like on the computer watching something, and all of a sudden, like I'm half awake, I'm having these weird dreams about like Big Bird, and I'm like, I wake up and she's bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know how it happened, but I just watched Jim Henson's funeral on YouTube.
Oh, no.
His real funeral had Carol Spinney, R.I.P. Oh,
Yeah.
So sad. But as Big Bird giving the eulogy for Jim Henson, go watch it tonight.
What?
And cry your eye. Yeah.
Oh my!
I can't watch that tonight. That's
And then
crazy.
there's an episode of The Muppet Show where they get a letter and it says, your friend Jim Henson died. And it's all about the Muppets talking to kids about death.
Oh my God.
I think Jim Henson might be the first death I remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or no, Mr. Hooper would be the number one.
Mr. Hooper,
Mr.
for sure.
Hooper.
Woo! Can't even talk about that one.
That's,
For
yeah.
me, I mean, you're
Yeah.
too young to know this, but for me, it would be James from Good Times. It's like 2 days after James has died, and all the kids are like really upset, but the mom is just totally chill and fine and
She
strong.
was
and they're
almost like it was at the wake. It was the wake of after the funeral.
Yeah.
Was the scene, and she was walking around. She was telling all kinds of stories, and she was laughing.
Yes.
And it really just
It's
upset
like
the kids.
And
Oh.
finally they are like, like, Ma, and she's like, oh, will you kids stop? I am fine. Your dad is gone. I'm okay. I really am okay. And da-da-da. And they all go to bed and she's just tidying up the kitchen. She has this huge, this is like an iconic, it's a sitcom, but it's a very serious moment.
Yeah.
And she has this huge crystal punch bowl, or whatever it was. And it's a punch bowl. And she is going to put it away. And she smashes it on the ground. And she says, damn, 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 damn. And she bursts into tears.
Yeah.
And all the kids run out from the bedrooms.
Oh, it was
and hug her. Oh, my
sad.
God. It was
I'm
shocking.
like getting emotional right now just
that
thinking
is a
about it.
PTSD. That is a thing. That's a pop culture PTSD where you're like, I remember that and felt it. Because it was like being a little kid and watching an adult cry, like a mom cry.
It was
like,
so well done.
Mom.
I'm going to go watch Good Times now.
Yes. Yeah, it's good. Good Times is great. I want to do one of those, actually. Maybe at a future episode. But anyway, Chris, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. I think it's probably our longest episode to date.
Sorry, I have that.
No, it's fantastic.
It's good.
So good. You just spun out all different ways.
Yeah, well, you guys have to. We'll have to do my show. I think
would love to do that.
I think we can fill an
Love to
hour
do
without
that.
even trying.
So let's
time.
chat with Chris Revill.
Woo!
Right, available everywhere: iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want.
Yeah.
And this was Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been amazing. And, of course, look us up as well on iTunes.
Follow us on social, all the stuff.
We're everywhere. You guys know that. Old Roommates Pod at gmail.com. Feel free to send in your picks for Muppet Madness.
Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.